Welcome to this week's news, and we've got a long list, so let's get started.
You are listening to Business Growth Ready with Michael Hele.
So first we've got Google helpful content updates, ups or downs. So the helpful content update or algorithms kicked off last August. Now, it was confirmed by Danny Sullivan on a tweet that potentially Google's goal now is to find hidden gems. So it's going to be seeking out what he would class as really helpful content, and they're likely to see a boost. And obviously, the idea is non-helpful content, spam and all that kind of stuff, will actually be pushed down the search. And that was actually confirmed by Danny Sullivan in a tweet. You've also got Google, let's change here. Google has launched a response to the OpenAI chatbot. Theirs is called Bard. It was actually, I think it was a couple of months ago it was launched and wasn't that overly successful. It's now being powered by Palm 2, a language model. And this is actually quite smart, and it's opened up to people in the US and the UK at the moment. So if you do get a chance to play with it, do. I have. Quite interesting. Some of the results are quite impressive. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Google held its I/O event, and that was quite interesting. There's a couple of things, and I'm going to work from notes because there's quite a lot. So one of the big things was their SEG, Search Generative Experience. So this could be Google's new search engine going forward, or at least be powering the search engine. So the idea is, now if you're planning a holiday, you're going to do all these individual searches. So you're going to be looking for your hotel, you might be looking for your flights and stuff like that. The idea is that, or it's actually called in-depth search results. So if you imagine you're planning your holiday, you're just going to say, well, I'm looking to go on holiday to this country at this particular time, and it's going to go away and come back with what would be potentially known as a smart result. So it's going to come back and say, okay, you want to go on October the 15th. Even more better if you've shared your calendar information with Google, if you're logged in. So then it's going to go, okay, here's the information, here's the contact details for the taxi. Here's your flight information if you want to book your flight. Here's the the car hire details, because assuming that it's picked your potential flight, it knows where it's going to land, and it's also going to suggest the hotel. And by doing that, it's going to know that you're either going to need to hire a car to get to the hotel, or at least going to need a taxi. It's going to let you know all about the check-in availability, and potentially if you've got a pet in, it knows that. It may even suggest booking your pet in, so your dog boarding kennel details and all that kind of stuff. So the idea, instead of you doing individual searches, go with your problem or what you're looking to do, and it will map all the logical things together to make that a successful search. In-depth product results. So if you imagine if you were searching for a bike, say you're new to cycling and you want to commute to work, so you're going to ask it basically to recommend a bike for you. So the idea of the search result would coming back, instead of just giving you a list of bikes, it would potentially come back with recommending, what about this e-bike? This is going to have great suspension, easy to drive, and it'll be great if you're going over bumpy hills and all that kind of stuff. The idea is it's more logic based than just throwing out an example that's just been SEO'd, which will be quite interesting for my industry. Following that, you've now got, so the third stage will be conversation-based mode. So now you've asked it about your bike, you can ask it about some other things. It could be colors, so you could go about what would be an ideal color for a bike, or if you were on about potentially searching for a wedding cake, how big a wedding cake should be for X amount of people. Yeah, and then you could carry on that conversation, much as what you can do with ChatGPT. The idea is you can do that with Bard, and it will be using live search results as well. And the next one we've got is actually content generation. Familiar with that? What you could do is go in there and say, come up with a name for our social group. You've got maybe a quiz night, come up with 10 good questions based on this topic. Could even come up with maybe ideas for your social media post, and then potentially kids post, as in a poem or something like that. A poem about cats, for example. Another one I saw, which is version would be number 5 on that, is actually coming up with a fitness plan. So again, it's more likely that in the future, if you've shared information with Google, so it's logged in, it knows your say any personal details. Say you've got a Fitbit, because Google owns Fitbit, it might know more details of you than somebody else, and then you could ask, potentially come up with a fitness plan, and it will be able to come up with a super tailored plan based on the information it knows of you. If you don't, or if it hasn't got that, there's no problem where you can add, I am X amount of pounds on this tour, come up with a fitness plan. I have 3 or 4 weeks off next fall, and then it could come up with a plan like that. Or you could maybe even say, look, I'm looking to do this particular race in 8 months. This is my current fitness level. What would be an ideal training program, for the next couple of months? On to the next update we have, which is an algorithm, or this is, you don't have to worry about this potential until 2024. Those who are familiar with the core vitals, Google is pushing to make websites slimmer. I should follow the same algorithm, but the idea is that over the last couple of years, the core web vitals is basically looking to make websites load quicker, have less code, so less unnecessary code, slimmer graphics, and obviously be more user-friendly as far as accessibility is concerned and stuff like that. And one of the things they looked at is and I've got it written down here, is the content. So the first, or it's known as FID, so the first input delay. So there's 4 parts of the core web vitals, and one of them they were looking at is the first input delay. So if you imagine your website loads and you're waiting for something to load before they can actually interact with it, that would be your first content delay. Now, next March, that's actually going to change. That's going to actually disappear. And then they'll be looking at, and they've got it here as the INP. So it's a next input, basically the interaction to the next input. So if you thought you got your website core web vital sorted and it's, loading quick and all that kind of stuff, you've got to check it next March to make sure you're actually current. Now, the role of page experience in creating helpful content. Basically, April, Google updated its page experience, but you need to now look at helpful content is being meeting also page experience. So it's no good having really good helpful content that is lagging and slow and all that kind of stuff. So you may have loads of images and stuff like that. So now you need to for your helpful content to be helpful for you as well, you need to watch your page experience, and they've updated those details on April. It was late April in their page experience guide. So 50% of product searches start on Amazon. Now, that's quite surprising. Not the search engines, it starts at Amazon. So a product review survey in early 2023 actually showed that Generation Z, so they're not zombies, those are people that are born in 1990s to 2010. Basically, they're born with the internet around them, so they're Gen Zs. So this is looking at them. So online browsing with them has become the norm. There's no real surprise in that. So Amazon is the most common place where people actually start their journey. So 50% of consumers start there. Beside Amazon, this is going to be quite interesting. This is all going to be down to reviews as well. So besides Amazon, you've got them turn into things like Google and branded websites, so big, well-known websites. So I've got some figures here, so I can go through these. Yeah. So consumer chooses website based on the availability of reviews. Yeah, 77% of shoppers, are looking for reviews before they make a purchase. That's quite interesting, because if I'm buying tech, I might not always buy it from Amazon, so I know some preferred suppliers, but I am still looking for reviews off there if I'm looking at tech and stuff like that, which would be the same if you imagine Amazon doesn't have everything, but if you've got a preferred supplier, it's likely that you'll look for a review if you don't know a lot about the product, especially nowadays, since it's half the time you can't get to look or feel a product. The only way you can actually get hold of it is online. So consumers chooses websites based on their availability reviews. Most popular places consumers read reviews is Amazon 94%, retail websites 91%, search engines 70%. So again, getting reviews, and we've been telling customers and ourselves we need to get more and more reviews, because obviously it helps with the trust factor. So, and again, which is part of an algorithm, so getting that is important. 74% of consumers say the ratings and reviews are key when learning about products they've never purchased before. 9 out of 10 consumers say they consider reviews when making a purchase decision. So yeah, important. So basically nowadays, reviews is table stakes. Without reviews, be it good reviews on your website, and obviously don't fake them, because ideally you want reviews actually endorsed on other websites. So if you have got reviews, by all means link from your website to those reviews to reinforce them, and if you are citing them on your website, link to the original source. So what we got here, yeah, reviews are table stakes. So 99.75% of online shoppers read reviews at least sometimes. 91% do always or on a regular basis before purchasing. 98% of shoppers say reviews are essential resource when making a purchase decision. Nearly half, 45% of consumers won't purchase a product if they've not had a review against it. That's quite interesting. And here's the big one, yeah. Reviews are particularly important for high-priced, unknown products. So that's where, if you think of videos, so video influencers, where they get hold of a new camera, a new bit of kit and stuff like that, they have so much influence because they can review it, and that's that person's probably only chance of them seeing that video is probably potentially more than the written review, at least going forward. If you've ever been on Amazon, if you go way down, you'll actually see on some products they've actually videos associated with them. So 78% of consumers say the more expensive the product, the more they need to see reviews against it. Nearly all, 98% of consumers are more likely to read a review on a product they've never purchased before. So that was a research done by Power Reviews, and that was a couple of months ago, or no, about a month or so ago. So on to the next story. This is now we're on to videos. So YouTube will no longer be deleting videos on interactive accounts. This was announced on their T's and C's that potentially inactive accounts would be removed. So this is still going to happen, but not on videos. So if accounts have got videos associated to it, it's unlikely. They say we do not have plans to delete accounts with YouTube videos at this time. They have no plans to remove YouTube videos at this time. Now, personally, I don't think that's going to be sustainable on keeping loads of stuff just because it's in the archive. Somebody mentioned music, so obviously if you imagine an artist and they've passed away, their account might no longer be active. So the idea is those videos will still stay around. But Joe Bloggs, who's just signed up for an account 10 years ago, put one video up in there and has probably done nothing with it. I can't see them keeping them around for ages. But one thing to bear in mind is that even though YouTube won't be or they said Google won't be removing the YouTube videos, you've got to bear in mind if you've got a Google account, so your YouTube might be associated to that. So you've got a Google account with Google Docs and Drives and Calendar and all that kind of stuff. If that is not being active, that is up for deletion from December this year. So if you've got an account and you haven't signed into it, that's likely to be deleted. And for you to maintain that account, I believe you've got to log in every 2 years, at least every 2 years, for them to deem that as an active account. So the next one, yeah, YouTube's rolling out unskippable 30 seconds ads. This is for TVs. So if you've ever watched YouTube, you see those ads, and after a couple of seconds, you can click skip. So the idea is that on the TV, they will be non-skippable. So they'll be running non-skippable. Basically, they can make a bit more money and stuff like that, which is fine. If anybody's ever looked at the cost of hosting videos, it's horrendous. So obviously, YouTube needs to make its penny. Yeah, podcasts are now live on YouTube. So you could always put videos up before and call them podcasts, but now they've created a dedicated space. So the way to do it is you just create a playlist, upload a thumbnail, not the normal thumbnail. They've got to be square, similar to the square thumbnails you would put up on the normal podcast channels. And the podcast playlist is also tagged as a podcast list, and you just stick all your podcasts in there. So they will actually show on a tab on YouTube itself, but also potentially YouTube Music. We've got Twitch, and they've just launched a new clip editor. Now, if anybody familiar with Twitch, normally known as a gaming channel, but it's not solely games. If you've got business, I know a lot of people that put business content in there. So now the idea is that you can take that long form content and actually take highlights and clips it, or take clips out of it, hence the clip editor, take those clips and actually share them on things like YouTube Shorts and TikTok. The idea is that what actually puts your Twitch channel within that clip. The idea is it creates eyeballs off channel on other resources, as I say, YouTube Shorts, and actually brings them, the plan is to bring them over to Twitch. So you're growing your Twitch audience. We've also got Twitter. So if anybody familiar now, you've got the Twitter and where you can actually buy your blue mark as a subscriber. Now the benefit, if you do that, you actually get a 2-hour upload on your video. So the standard video is 2 minutes. So if you're uploading to Twitter, you can upload a 2-minute video. And now if you're a subscriber, you can upload it up to a 2-hour video in 1080p, and basically it's pay to play. And these platforms where you are paying for a subscription or a verification, you are likely to get more reach as well. So it's kind of like you're paying for accreditation and a bit of a boost at the same time. Next story we've got is Instagram. So anybody with an Instagram account, Instagram's famous that you could only put one link in there. Hence, there's a whole industries of link in bio. So you could add this separate page with loads and loads of links. So now Instagram has actually changed that now. So now you can have multiple links in your bio, and that's up to 5 clickable links. So that's on Instagram. So if you haven't done anything like or haven't updated your Instagram, you can certainly go and add a few more links to that. Next up we've got is Pinterest. Now Pinterest is now allowing external links. Now you could do this if you had a business account, but now they're actually rolling this out. So if you're an individual and you want to put external links within your pin, you can actually do that as well. We've got OpenAI. Looking forward to this. OpenAI is gonna OpenAI, as in, I don't always struggle with this. Let's go. ChatGPT. Yeah, it's a ChatGPT app. So that's going to be official app rolling out on your Apple. I think it's Apple first, so on the iPhone. And at the moment, it's US only. And then the Android will follow. So looking forward to that. But that'll probably be a month or so away if you're in the UK. And next we've got is, if you've ever wanted to hook up, you could do this with Android, but if you ever wanted to hook up your iPhone to Windows, you can actually do that now. There's a new app out in the I'll leave a link as well, but in the App Store, this allows you to hook up your iPhone to Windows, and you can get your basic functionality, things like receiving calls and messages through the desktop, as well as notification. So it's not as full featured as the Android, but that's rolling out, and I'll do a separate video on that and leave a link on that. And finally, because we've had a lot of talk on AI, is DaVinci Resolve, which is a editor, video editor. So 18.5 is now throwing a bit more AI stuff. Probably one of the nice exciting bit in there. As you upload your video, it'll actually transcribe your video, so it knows all what the text content there, and then you can actually play with the text. So you can actually take bits of text out and stuff like that, which I haven't tested yet, but I believe it'll actually impact on your video as well. But the nice thing in it, I believe you then can put your subtitles and create subtitles on your videos because of the automatic transcription, which is DaVinci Resolve is doing. And that's this week's news. Give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.